Hi children, this is Nigel and today we are going to learn together English grammar. One very common topic as well as very important topic. But before that, why are we learning grammar? Well, we are learning grammar basically, to develop and integrate the use of the four language skills. Every language has, four skills: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. It will also help you to communicate effectively and appropriately in real life situation. At the same time, those who are interested, it can develop interest in and appreciation of literature as well. So grammar is very very important in our day to day life, and especially when we are speaking. Now coming down to the point, today we are going to learn adjectives, and as you can see that the chapter has certain goals to be achieved today. And the goals are: first thing, what we are going to study is what is an adjective. Second, two types of adjectives. Do not wonder. And third is using adjectives correctly. Well, you can see there the four parts: ed and ing adjectives, comparatives and superlatives, order of adjectives, few commonly used errors. Well, children, this we are not going to cover in one part, we are going to cover it in two parts. So today the first part will cover up only three things, that is what is an adjective, two types of adjectives, and using adjectives correctly, the first part, that is ed and ing adjectives. Hope you will enjoy it. But before that, how many of you would like to answer what an adjective is? Oh well, an adjective gives information about a noun or a pronoun. Yes, it modifies a noun or a pronoun. Well, an adjective, is incomplete without a noun or a pronoun. As for example, you can see there are five big metallic chairs in my room. Now, five big metallic are the adjectives, or I would rather say the different descriptive adjectives which have been used for the noun chairs. And yes, it has been placed before a noun. And if I see the second example, it states the lecture is easy and simple. So the describing words easy and simple. But here what we see is that the two descriptive words have been placed after a noun. So it really does not matter. The point to bring out two different sentences is just to make you understand that an adjective can be placed before a noun, it can also be placed after a noun. Now, second part, children, very important, two types of adjectives. So today we are going to cover up two different types of adjectives. Now children, you see, whenever we learn adjectives, we refer book, and the book clearly tells us about the different types of adjectives. But we are going to learn it in a little different manner. Let us categorize adjectives under two heads. One, less interesting adjectives, and the second, more interesting adjectives. More interesting adjectives we are very much interested, because we generally use those and we consider those as adjectives. But determiners, we often get confused and do not understand whether it is an adjective or what. Well, if I talk about less interesting adjectives, these are more important than your descriptive adjectives. Why? Let us see. Now, as you can see, the first part, it states my, our, your, his, her. If I categorize it, it can be categorized as possessive adjective. But children, when all those words my, our, your, his, or her, it has to follow a noun, or else it is no longer a determiner or an adjective. For example, if I talk about the first part, my car is parked in the school campus. Now, if you see the word car, just before the word car, I have used the word my. So all those possessive, if it comes along with a noun, then it is an adjective, or I can also say it as a determiner. it has to come or it has to follow a noun. Moving on to the next part. That is this, that, these, those. Very simple. We have been learning since class 2. But today we are going to discover when it forms as an adjective and when it forms as something else. Let us take the example of the word this. If I say this car is blue in color. So children, this car means the word car, it has been preceded by the word this. So if the word this follows a noun, then of course it is an adjective. But again, if I say this is a blue car, well, in the second example, this is a blue car. I have not used any adjective after the word this. Henceforth, it is not an adjective, but it is a pronoun. Moving on to the third part, what, which, whose. These are interrogative. Sorry, the second one, this, that, these, those, can be referred as or can be called as demonstratives. Third part, what, which, whose are interrogatives. But again, these interrogative words or the WH question has to follow a noun or else again it is not an adjective. Now let us take one example. Which team won the match today? So if I say which team, team is of course a noun. So which has followed a noun. Henceforth, it is an adjective. Moving on to the fourth part, that is quantity, or I can also say it quantifiers. The words few, a few, the few, little, a little, the little, much, many. If all these words or any of these words you take it as example, if it follows a noun, of course, it is an adjective, and if not, then it is not. For example, let me take the example of the little. The little milk which is left in the container, or I can say the little milk left in the container was drunk by my small child. Now coming on to the last part, that is articles. A and the. You must be confused that how can an article be a determiner or an adjective? Of course it is, because no article can be used without a noun. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. An apple. A window is open. The window is open. So article, if it follows a noun, it has to, of course, then it is a determiner, or we can also call it as an adjective. And now moving on to the descriptive adjectives. This is very simple. Any word which describes any noun or a pronoun is a descriptive adjective, or we generally call it as a quality. Now moving on to the next part, the most interesting part. That is, children, you must have learnt that adjective can be formed with a noun. Yes. It can be formed with a verb. Yes. It can also be formed with an adjective. Adjective formed with an adjective. But what is more confusing is an adjective formed with a verb. Now if you see the words, three words which I have given as example, boring, bored, the root word is bore. Interesting, interested, the root word is interest. Excited, exciting, the root word is excite. These are all verbs. Now when I use it as an ing and when I use it as an ed, what difference does it make? That is very, very important. Though when we read a sentence, we generally put the right answer, but we do not know the reason. So here we will see the reason. Now as you see the first example, my friend and I went to see a movie. The movie was boring, so we were bored. Now when I talk about movie, the reason of we being bored is only because of the movie. So the cause, boring, the movie was boring, so that is the cause, the reason for which we were bored, that is the effect, or I would say rather result. Second example goes with the same. The students felt really interested because the teacher's lecture was so interesting. Now lecture was interesting, that is why the students were interested. So again there is a reason, there is a cause. So whenever you are using ing form, ing verb, ing adjective, ing adjective formed with a verb, you need to understand that it will be used as a cause and nothing else. And any verb used as an adjective with the form ed will always be a result or an effect. Third example, the story was exciting and the children were excited to hear it. The same goes with the third example as well. The story was exciting. What was exciting? Of course, the story. So there is a reason for the children to be excited. So, of course, a cause and a result. ing, you just need to understand one concept which is very important. ing adjectives formed with a verb is a cause. ed adjective formed with a verb is a result or an effect. These points you need to understand so that adjectives will become more simple and easy for you. Well, a short recap. What we did: first thing, what is an adjective? Two types of adjective which will actually fulfill the entire demand. Third thing we did is using adjectives correctly, only the first part. Well, children, enjoy this lesson, read your book, try to solve more examples. It will become more simpler and easier for you. Well, this is what we have for you in part 1. Part 2 will continue further with comparatives and superlatives, order of adjectives, few commonly used errors. And class 8 and 9, you need to be very, very attentive for the second part. Thank you. Have a nice day.